they can depend on. Christine Otieno, BBC News.
Ukraine's Holocaust Memorial Centre has identified and named 159 Nazis that 80 years ago were involved in one of Hitler's worst massacres during World War II, the Babyn Yar atrocity, in which 33,000 Jews were killed in just 2 days. Well, in a moment, we'll speak to the lead researcher behind the investigation. First, though, let's hear a personal story from someone who was affected by the massacre. When she was 1 year old, Larissa's mother followed a Nazi's announcement calling all Jews to go to a checkpoint on the outskirts of Kiev, and she never saw her again.
They didn't know they would go to Babyn Yar. They were told they were going to Germany. My mother felt that something was wrong, so she handed me to a woman, a stranger, when a policeman looked away. So that was how I got home, but without my mother.
Live now to Kiev, let's talk to Father Patrick Desbios from the Babyn Yar Holocaust Memorial Centre, one of the chief investigators in identifying these 159 Nazis who were responsible. Father, good to see you after what has surely been an incredibly difficult and heartbreaking time for you and your team, I'm sure. Can you explain to us, firstly, why you think it's so important that we know at this point, all these decades later, who was responsible?
You know, since 20 years, I investigate with my team with all the shootings of Jews who happened in Ukraine, Russia, Moldavia, etc. And when I began working in Babyn Yar, I heard no name. It's like if Babyn Yar killed the Jews. And so I say it's not possible. We have to find who did it really, because Hitler was not here and Himmler and Irish. So we finally began to find a list with evidence of people involved in the shooting, or to extract the Jews from the apartment, or to carry the Jews, etc. Because, you know, when you want to kill such an amount of people, it's a team job.
What would you say to those who think that we shouldn't dignify the perpetrators by giving them a name, by identifying them this way?
For me, it's the opposite. If we don't give a name, we think it's only Hitler and Himmler. And you know, now in terrorist groups, they do the same. We know bin Laden, we know Baghdadi. I work in Iraq, and people forget actually who was the killer in Paris. So it's an attraction for me. If we don't denounce who they are, it's to heal today the planet and to protect the planet for the small people who say, oh, I want to be part of the team of killers, because they will forget my name.
Father, how much did you manage to actually find out about the lives of the people who were involved? Did they have anything in common? Did you find out their motivation for the atrocities, for why they committed these atrocities?
It's a big question, because first, different of age. Some were very young, 20 years old, some were 47. I remember the story of Paul Blobel was the chief. He was only building houses. He was nobody in Germany. And so slowly he entered the Nazi party. And here he was part of the leaders of an execution of 33,000. So I think for any killer, to be a mass killer, it's a social promotion. It's a social career promotion. And I think it's the most attractive part to say, I am somebody, you know, I like James Bond, I kill the bad people. And so don't forget that nearly nobody has been judged among all these killers, because we estimate that all around will be 2,000 German present in Babyn Yar. Only six German have been judged guilty, 5 SS and a policeman. And all the others went back home in Germany, like doing nothing after participating in the killing of 33,000 human beings.
Father, this could be very shocking, this news, for some of the families, you know, when they see perhaps a name on this list and realise that they are related to this person. Have you been approached by any of the families yet? Have any of them reached out to you?
We have been approached by families who wanted to know if their grandpa was a killer. We were against him, and they sent me a bunch of pictures of a shooting where they say, perhaps a guy in the picture is my dad. And so I studied a lot with my team, with my organization called Yachad Inunum, and I found it was not him, but I was not sure. I received very few requests like that. I think people are afraid of the past, and don't forget, but when the German came back, in Germany, they say we were fighting the communists and the Soviet, and that's it. Most of the family, in fact, don't know. They know the global story, but they don't know what Grandpa did.
I think you're right. Many people are afraid of the past, but you and your team have had to live through it almost every single day in this research you've been doing. How has that experience been for you?
You know, it changed your life because one day I interviewed a man in Romania. He has killed 223 Jews, and as he was a military, he's not legally guilty. And you know, it was terrible because this man was nice. He was smiling. He even woke me at the end of the apartment, and he said, "Father, I wish you long life." So it was, I would say, terrible because I understood anybody can become a killer when it's a genocide. Anybody also, unfortunately, can be a victim. It's why we have to train young generations to say, be careful. If one day you are diplomat, journalist, military, policeman in a place of mass killing, perhaps will awake in you somebody that you don't know.
And perhaps as well, a very clear warning of how easily, Father, this could happen again and how it mustn't happen again. Thank you so much for your work and for joining us. Father Patrick Dubois joining us there from Kiev.